ourselves as a planet, in fact, facing what I would call some of the great disruptors of our times, variously sustainability, of course, global health issues, but also things like inequality, digital transformation is another, and perhaps one that I think is really quite significant in the coaching area, and that is trust, and what I might call the erosion of trust in all sorts of institutions around the world. So we've got all of these challenges to face. And so I think that there's never been a better time to be able to have a summit like this, where we're bringing people together to share ideas about how to tackle these issues together. So it couldn't be coming at a better time. Karen, I have to confess a little bit of a bias here, because one of my great interests and passions is looking at the way in which altruism, compassion, and empathy can be used effectively to humanize the workplace. So I was just reflecting the other day that if I was to try to have a conversation with a CEO or a senior leader about compassion, if I tried to do that about 8 years ago, I think it would have been quite a difficult conversation to have, because in those days, I think people were probably less inclined to talk about things like compassion and empathy. But I think one of the sort of collateral effects, if you like, of the COVID era that we've gone through is that compassion and empathy have really entered what I would call the business lexicon. In other words, it's become part of everyday conversation, I would say, and certainly part of the business vocabulary that we use. And so I think very excitingly, when we talk about human qualities that coaches and leaders will need to exhibit, I think we're going to be calling on very deep wells of compassion and empathy in order to get through the present challenges that we've got. But given how aware we're becoming of some of the sort of mega trends in terms of the planet itself going forward, I think that we really will have our work cut out. And so again, the role and contribution of coaches cannot be underestimated, because people need that kind of support. They need that kind of opportunity to bounce ideas and get some sense of what direction they might be able to go in. Question, and one of the things that I've noticed in the conversations these days that I'm having with lots of different people actually about empathy in the workplace, people will say, yeah, I really get it, Michael, I'm really for it, empathy is a great thing, but here I'm a little bit confused as to how I might be able to, for want of a better word, operationalize empathy in a workplace setting. I mean, what does this actually look like? What kind of practical actions can we take to bring more empathy into our workplaces? And so what I'd hope to be able to do through my session is to give what will not be an exhaustive list of actions to take to bring empathy into your organizations, but perhaps to give our coaching colleagues and other attendees of the conference a bit of confidence that bringing empathy into the organization has got some common sense, really human things that we can do at one end of the spectrum, and then at the other end of the spectrum, some rather more complex, perhaps more time-consuming actions that we can take that may take a little bit of time to actually come to fruition. So that would be one of the big takeaways I'd like to offer from the session that I'll be giving. At this particular time is a golden opportunity to reconnect, to rejuvenate actually, and to sort of rediscover some of those human connections that we perhaps haven't had so much opportunity to explore or to deepen. And the reason why we might want to do that is to be able to get fresh insights, invite perspectives, perhaps on old, maybe still thorny, intractable issues. And I suppose above and beyond everything, really, certainly from a coaching perspective, the opportunity to learn from others, to share, and to also then, through doing that, enrich and deepen your own practice as a coach. I think it's an opportunity not to be missed, Karen.